This is the story of a union, a militant union built by New York's transit workers. This is the story of TWU Local 100. Members stand together when they build a union. That has been our legacy. In the days before TWU, New York City's transit was private and it made millions for its owners, the Belmonts, the Goulds, the Rockefellers, and the Morgans. Their lifestyle was quite different from those who worked for them. In 1933, there were 40,000 transit workers in New York City. All were poorly treated and miserably paid. Many worked 70 hours a week, and the 7-day work week was the rule. Discipline was arbitrary and ruthless. One day you came into work, the next day you were out on the street. Jobs were dangerous. You worked sick or injured, or you risked losing your job. Cleaner positions were the only transit jobs available to African Americans. There was no hope of promotion out of that title. Workers fought back, but when most unions organized workers, they would only organize a single craft and the union never lasted. The workforce was divided by craft, by employer, by language, by nationality, by gender, and by race. But all workers were united by one thing, the grinding poverty of transit work. The TWU was born from an idea of the Great Depression. Across America, workers were forming industrial unions. Unions that organized all workers in an industry, not just a single craft, but everyone. It was happening in auto, steel, rubber, textiles, and it would happen in transit. There were a number of workers who brought that idea to transit in New York. One of them was Mike Quill. Born on a farm in County Kerry in 1905, Quill's family was involved in the struggle to free Ireland from the British. And when he came to America, like many other Irish immigrants, he got a job on the subways. Quill joined transit workers who were trying to form a union. They started on the IRT at the 148th Street Shop, one of the largest transit facilities in the world. The TWU began to recruit workers secretly. By June 5, 1934, they were beginning to hold meetings openly. Mike Quill had become the leader of their group, the Transport Workers Union. He was well known among Irish circles in the Bronx and would appear outside shops and barns on his legendary soapbox to speak to the workers. Organizers came to the powerhouses where the IRT made its own power from coal. They organized workers on the BMT and the bus lines. It took 4 long years of hard work. Then came the defining moment in TWU's history. When Local 100 organizers at the BMT powerhouse in Williamsburg were fired in January 1937, the workers fought back and seized control of the building. All 3 shifts sat in the building and threatened to shut off power the next day unless the workers were reinstated. By rush hour the next day, the BMT management caved in. The union organizers were put back to work. That victory launched a wave of union fever in transit workers across the city. In less than 9 months from that sit-down strike, Local 100 organized the IRT and BMT subways, the 3rd Avenue Railway, the 5th Avenue Coach Company, and the Omnibus Company, 40,000 workers in all, with contracts. It had never been done before, and it was only done because the TWU organized everyone. Mike Quill became the TWU's first president, and he went on to run for New York City Council for 3 terms. Quill understood the need for strong political activity, and our union's strong commitment to political action has continued through today. At the same time, the union began its long tradition of social unionism. Its building on West 64th Street became a center of activity. There was no health insurance in those days, so Local 100 set up a health plan for its members, and it established a credit union. Mail sacks of postcards came to the Union Hall from members enjoying their first family vacations together. Local 100 continued to build upon its core mission to improve workers' lives. TWU fought for women workers who were paid less than men. In 1938, TWU fought the IRT for African American workers to get promoted out of the cleaner titles to become station agents and platform men, and then bus drivers. Local 100 won the 40-hour work week in the early 1950s after a 29-day strike on the private lines. TWU won increased pensions over and over again. When the Fifth Avenue Bus Company threatened to terminate pension payments for retirees in 1962, TWU went out on a strike for 29 days, saving jobs and the pensions. TWU stood side by side with civil rights workers, freedom riders, labor organizers in the South, and with the Reverend Martin Luther King throughout his campaign to end segregation. Local 100 was not afraid to take on the politicians, the city, or its employers, conducting citywide transit strikes in 1966, 1980, and 2005. When the battle lines were drawn, we never backed down, always fighting the good fight. Today, Local 100 remains as committed as ever to its diverse membership. The lessons of its early days continue to be present today. We are faced with assaults on our contracts, our pensions, our working conditions, our jobs. All that we have struggled to win since our founders sat down in that power plant in Brooklyn. We continue to be a strong union because we are committed to social justice. We are a militant union, and we will stand up for what's right. We will accomplish these goals because we stand together. Just like our founders, today we stand as one.